sisters, it is Ate Nikki here and we are in Tim Hortons in Makati, Philippines, and today we are going to be discussing about the Realme C1. What is it? When was it? We'll find out together. And bam! Here is the Realme C1 phone. So back in 2010, Oppo Real actually launched this brand, and then they rebranded themselves back in May of 2018 into the Realme brand. So this is the Realme C1. They also have the Realme 1, which is the first phone in India, and they were actually still an independent company at the time. It wasn't until December actually that they entered the Philippine market, and for an entry-level phone, this is actually very affordable, and a lot of people like it because of its pocket friendliness. The phone actually, when you buy it, it comes with a cable, with a charger, and a transparent case. So if you're one of those people who would much rather use their phone with a case, that is a feature that they'll give you when you buy the phone. So it's pretty great. So upon holding the phone, you would actually notice on the back that it's an entirely glass panel, and that it actually gives the phone a sheen and wet look. If you're into that type of aesthetic, this is just a clean, sleek design that would actually pique your interest. This feature is actually really great if it wasn't such a huge fingerprint magnet. So I don't know about you guys, but I am a frequent user of my phone every single day, every single hour of the day. I would have my phone in my hands, texting people, calling people, just browsing social media, because that's what millennials do apparently. So every time that I touch the phone on the back, it leaves lots of fingerprints. So just keep that in mind if you're going to go caseless with this phone. So this is actually the case that came with the phone. So it's, of course, it's made for the phone. So if you want, you can put the phone in the case. I have trouble doing that. And there we go. On the back as well, you would notice that this phone actually has a dual camera setup, and I don't know about you guys, but as a person who takes pride in social media and Instagram, a lot of the photos that I would take with this phone would, I don't know, it just adds a little bit of wow factor to my Instagram feed. You can see here actually that it does not have a fingerprint sensor on the back nor in the front. So just keep in mind, it doesn't really have a fingerprint sensor. It does, however, have a facial recognition software, which a lot of flagship phones nowadays have. Of course, you have the standard physical buttons. Here's the power button on the right side of the phone, and the volume rocker on the other side. So moving on to the front, we have a 6.2-inch screen with curved corners, and of course, a notch. And it's actually pretty standard nowadays, the notch at the top where the camera and the earpiece would go. It's actually protected with Gorilla Glass 3 and an additional screen protector that's pre-installed by the company, which they're really nice additions that make it more resistant to scratches and, of course, breakage. So Oppo smartphones in general have actually been known for their vivid displays and the panels with a minimal bleeding, and it's actually a bit tricky when it comes to direct sunlight, but all in all, the display is great. Also, there's a headphone jack, so take that, Apple. So the Realme C1 actually runs on Color OS, which is a modified fork of Android 8 Oreo, which was actually developed by Oppo. So given that, it has a 16 gig phone memory storage and 2 gigs of RAM, so it's not surprising that the phone can feel a bit sluggish from time to time, especially me, when I switch between apps and social media and a lot of the games that I play online and on mobile. There is actually a bit of hiccups when it comes to switching between those phones, so just keep that in mind. Still, the Snapdragon 450 processor handles the essential tasks like a pro. Calls were clear, and I was able to browse the web and open several tabs without any issues whatsoever, so that's actually pretty great. It actually easily handles a lot of the heavy apps that we might call, like Facebook and Waze, but do take note that the C1 only supports 2.1 gigahertz of Wi-Fi frequencies, so you won't be able to connect to the faster 5 gigahertz connections. So So as an entry-level phone, actually, all of our basic necessities are in this one phone. So there's 4G, there's Wi-Fi, there's GPS, and I think we're good there. We think that these were the top functions that needed to be assessed with this phone, as well as the photo-taking capabilities and of course the casual gaming experience. So I've actually played about 3 games on this phone. All of them went on without a hitch, aside from the fact that when I switched through these games, like, you know, it of course had a bit of a hiccup when it came to it. So keep in mind, actually, this is still an entry-level phone. So with all of the things that it's able to do, it's actually kind of impressive. So Realme actually optimizes the gaming experience and performance through something they call Game Space. So it's a feature we've already seen in Oppo's phones last year, and it does things like allocating system resources for a smoother gaming performance, as well as blocking calls to prevent them from interrupting your gaming session. Loading screens can take a while though. I tried playing Pokemon Go on this thing. The loading screen went on for like 30 seconds to a minute, and I was just sitting there just thinking, where are my Pokemons? I think I tried to catch Eevee one time, but alas, phone was still booting up the game. So loading screens can take a while because of the 2 GB RAM that it has, but our main gripe is, of course, the storage space. At 16 gigs of storage, I was only able to download like 2 games or 3 games, as well as the apps that I typically use, like Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I have all of them. So this phone doesn't really like have the storage that I required it to have. So this phone actually prides itself for having a dual cam feature. For being an entry-level phone, that's pretty impressive. So I'm going to take some photos for you guys right now of myself. Right now we'll boot up the camera. Of course, they have the standard stuff like the photo, video, time-lapse, portrait mode, sticker mode, and then of course we have panoramic. So we'll go to photo mode here right now because we're going to take a selfie. So here's the photo that I took. I actually used this phone with my Snapchat, and for me, the lines of the photo were actually a bit too harsh for me, and everything was over-processed. My face was smooth to a T that it looked like I was fake. And I don't know, some people like that. Personally, I do not, and would much rather have a very like seamless, natural looking glow when it comes to my photos. So we actually have this very, very nice Tim Hortons cup right here that I'm going to take a photo of using the portrait mode of this phone. So here's the photo that I took of the Tim Hortons cup that I had right here. And I don't know, you guys be the judge. What do you think? Put it in the comments down below. This phone being an entry-level phone, having a dual camera setup, I would actually say that it's up to par when it comes to the other phones out there that have the same setup of dual camera and the AI technology that they use just to have great portraits for you to post onto your Instagram or wherever else that you post it. Taking everything that we've said so far, the Realme C1 comes with the essential features of a 2018 smartphone. So there's a big screen, there's a dual camera, of course a front camera, and an excellent battery life. Oh my god, we didn't even actually talk about the battery life on this thing. I actually have a pretty busy school schedule because I'm still studying, you know. I had a 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. class at one point, and I forgot to charge it actually the night before. So I went to school at like 86% battery life, lasted the entire day. I went home at 8 p.m. It was still at 15% battery. So the battery on this thing is an absolute beast for me because I am very phone heavy throughout the entire day, and it was actually very impressive because usually I would have to have a power bank with me along with my cable, and just halfway through the day I'd have to charge my phone. But with this phone, I did not have to do that, which is pretty nice. So the biggest takeaway of this phone actually is that with all of the things that I've mentioned, all of the things that you guys have seen. This phone retails at 5,999 Philippine pesos in the Philippines, which is mind-blowing to say the least, because I have not seen a phone that is this cheap that can do all of the things that it can do as the Realme C1. It's pretty great. At that price, it's almost a no-brainer for anyone who can live with a phone and doesn't really have much heavy usage of it, or for Facebook and other social media. This phone might be the one for you. So they can be for light users like your parents or your aunts and your uncles or even your grandparents. You can teach them to use this. So anyone who doesn't necessarily need the phone to be the fastest or take the prettiest pictures, this is quite a steal. So if you already have a better phone, the Realme C1 can actually act like, I don't know, a mobile hotspot, or maybe just a backup for when your battery dies. Just have it in your back pocket and boom, you have a phone. Those are just our thoughts. Maybe you have other ideas. Let us know down in the comments down below. So that is it for the Realme C1, folks. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up down below and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. And if you have any ideas or things that you'd like us to talk about in the future, you can just leave those in the comments down below. So up until next time, guys, this is again Ate Nikki, and I hope you have a great day.